Moving on, a new study by the universities of Bath and Southampton found that 10 minutes of daily mindfulness practices can enhance your mental well-being and increase motivation.
What other positive effects are there, and how can you incorporate those short trainings into your life? I spoke with Jacqueline Campbell, who is an emotional intelligence coach for entrepreneurs and executives, to find out more.
I've been a specialist in PTSD, that's post-traumatic stress disorder, for well over a decade. And what I've noticed in my clients, once they start doing mindfulness, visualizations, or meditative practices, they become very aware of not only themselves, but of the surrounding area. This improves so many different things, from decision making to having empathy and being able to emotionally regulate, but also connecting with people personally and professionally. I actually became a corporate trainer in the intention to help leaders be able to ground themselves, be more present, be more connected, make those better decisions. And a lot of that is based off of self-reflective mindfulness and meditation.
That's very interesting. We can delve into that a little deeper a bit later. First, can you give some examples or tips on just what kind of mindfulness practices are recommendable? Because it doesn't always have to be sitting there and doing meditation. Is that right?
That's correct. A lot of my depressed clients in the past, we've talked about going outside, going for a walk. You can sit under a tree, or you can just go sit by some water, or you can watch something like nature or candles. Like, you can do things and still be active, or you can do things like playing chess by slowly eating. Those things where we tend to not be so mindful and just kind of have action. Like, we can still do things, but being very intentional and mindful while we do it.
Should people draw a line somewhere to not become too reliant on just mindfulness practices? Or, at what point should one consider see a professional?
That is another very good question, because one thing that they endeavor to do in the mental health field is to get people to not need us anymore. So if we're doing anything, the goal is to always be able to have diversity in our coping skills and our self-care practices. And so like myself, I need to stay busy. That's just by my personality. It's naturally going to gravitate towards that go, 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 very busy activity. That's why I'm an entrepreneur. And with all those different tasks, it makes me feel good. So it keeps me out of the depressed state, right? Which are the natural inclination when you're not staying busy and you're more stagnant, is to have depressed, because what it does is it limits the brain's growth and then limits our energy in our body. So it just calms down. But if we calm down too much, then we get depressed. But just like myself, for example, if I constantly go, 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 I'm always doing one thing, moving to another task, and always multiple projects, it could turn into anxiety. So finding that balance is always best, knowing yourself and then knowing what you need to do to not go from one extreme, super busy, to the opposite extreme, which is staying very calm all the time, but finding a good balance in the middle. So in terms of when to seek a professional's help is when you can't manage it yourself. When you can stop seeing a professional, that's when your brain, and this kind of goes into the thalamus's ability to be aware of oneself. When you know that you're not fully aware of yourself, you still need somebody on the outside of you helping you get there.
These mindfulness practices, it can build psychological skills that are needed to build healthy habits in return. Can you elaborate on those skills a little bit more? And sometimes it just helps to pinpoint them.
I love that question, because that's one of the goals that I try to get, and we normally do after I work with an individual for some time. And right now I'm building a leadership boot camp for organizational leaders to be able to get into this mindset, because what we're trying to do with those cognitive skills is build mental resiliency. That means not only is it self-reflective and it holds itself accountable, but the individual knows when they're off balance so they can get in balance again. What this looks like is when bad things, like air quotes, right? Bad things happen, they're just lessons. They're not bad things. They're there to help you grow and help you get stronger mentally and sometimes physically. And a lot of the time we have a lot of fear that holds us back from that growth that the nervous system wants. It wants to evolve. We need people who know how to self-soothe, who know how to feel their emotions and regulate them, But that means picking up and shaking it off and keep moving sometimes when it's hard. That doesn't mean always being passive, always being soft, always being vulnerable, but it means knowing when you need to and knowing when you need to get the job done.
Got it. Well, thank you so much, Jacqueline Campbell. I think that those were some really valuable insight, and I think something that also turned out to be a great pep talk as well. So thank you so much.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.